Some poetry is grounded in reality, firmly rooted in this world. And other poetry is adrift, the words untethered, playful, and elusive. Most poetry is a mix, a blend of facts, familiar images, and thoughts from daily life, with a little mystery sprinkled in, especially towards the end of the poem, so that the audience reacts with an audible gasp or hum of acknowledgement.
Renewing your flight against the fall. Thanks. Thanks.
But every so often you will encounter poetry that balances between the two extremes in such a way that you don't know what you're supposed to know. It's a secretive, slippery kind of poetry, where the meaning seems just out of reach. If only you were in on the secret, or was there ever a secret to begin with? Consider this excerpt from Nothing's Wrong. I've waited 10 years for what I wanted to hear, and just last night let it go when a bouquet of baby pheasants startled it out of me, shooting arrows from the marsh. The speaker has been waiting to hear something for years. Maybe it's an apology from their mom. Who knows? We're not given much context. But that desire to hear something, that expectation, suddenly vanishes when the speaker is startled by some baby pheasants. It's a personal and mysterious moment, and the description of the baby pheasants as a bouquet is so adorable. Just like we have a pride of lions or a pack of dogs, I think we should petition for bouquet to be the official collective noun for baby pheasants. But getting back to my point, the last phrase in this excerpt left me with a question. What is shooting arrows from the marsh? At first, I imagined the speaker's epiphany, if I can call it that, like a light bulb over their head, rays of light shooting outwards as in a cartoon. But the word arrows didn't really match my interpretation, and anyway, the phrase seemed to refer to the pheasants, not the epiphany. A bouquet of baby pheasants startled it out of me, shooting arrows from the marsh. How could the baby pheasants be shooting arrows from the marsh? The mystery may have remained unsolved had I not remembered that I live in Canada, surrounded by nature, and poets who pay attention to it. So, on a hunch, I googled pheasant tracks. Bada bing bada boom. The pheasants scatter from the marsh, and their tracks look like arrows. Now, you're probably more smarter than me, and easily picked up on the meaning of these arrows. Still, you've got to admit, Jaime Forsythe doesn't hold the reader's hand. She could have written their tracks like shooting arrows from the marsh, or something like that, but she didn't. Now, here are the first 4 lines from the collection's first poem, Constitutional. Plane, balanced on a cloud, carves a grave telegram. If we gather our venom in one place, it will die in the fire. Tumor be gone. What does it mean for a plane to carve a grave telegram? What does it mean to gather venom that belongs to us in one place? Are there stories behind these lines? Do they refer to something in the same way that the shooting arrows refer to pheasant tracks? There's such a range of ways that Forsythe tackles abstraction that I'm often left guessing and discovering more the longer I sit with a poem, and I like that. One of my favorites in the collection is Little Proofs, a short and strange sequence of 10 4-line poems. 1. A single episode, glints in the periphery. Mailbox dazzle. Shocking burst of text. 2. Glisten close. The cake is in the trunk. If I can't see you, you can't see me. I really like these, for eschewing any obvious meaning, for being so different from anything else in the collection, and for the potential for guesswork, a voice asking, "Can you figure me out?" Thing is, there's a lot of abstract poetry that doesn't want to be figured out. Guesswork is almost frowned upon for missing the point. Take the first 6 lines from John Ashbery's The Tennis Court Oath. What had you been thinking about? The face studiously bloodied, heaven-blotted region. I go on loving you like water, but there is a terrible breath in the way all of this. You were not elected president, yet won the race. Don't get me wrong, I like what's going on in this poem. The strange word pairings, studiously bloodied and heaven-blotted, the unpredictable syntax, the simile, I go on loving you like water, that's gorgeous. But Ashbery's poem doesn't want to be figured out. It just wants to be experienced for what it is. Jaime Forsythe's poetry does a little bit of both. You can try to figure it out if that's your thing. You can also just let it wash over you. Here's her poem, Late Admissions. I did not transpose my grief into those falling clumps of snow. I did rip my sunburn into white strips last summer, one whisper closer to the center, raw and exposed from soft cups of keg beer. I told the person pouring how I missed my positively altered states in euphoria post-flu. They dropped this info into a vacant drum. I did not see the supermoon because the uncooked dough resembled someone I knew. Can I blame you? I know what I saw. That an eye twitch is a dispatch from another dimension in a tenacious language. Believe me, I'm listening. Just wait. Reading various online interviews with Jaime Forsythe, I learned a couple things. First, Jamie and I share a guilty pleasure. We both watch The Bachelorette. Second, and perhaps more importantly, in an interview with James Lindsay, Forsythe writes, I'm interested in the confessional, but particularly in the ways it can intersect with the surreal. Sometimes I'll write a line that is literally true, that happened, and it sounds completely absurd or unbelievable. I find that taking confessional elements and bending or warping them gives me lots to play with. This blend of the confessional and surreal is a useful way to understand Forsythe's poems and describe them to new readers, but you also have to consider the play and variety. There's a poem comprised entirely of phrases beginning wrong. Wrong shade of blue, wrong time of the month, wrong part of the lobster, wrong party trick, wrong glitter bomb, wrong prayer, wrong emoji. Another poem includes only phrases beginning who. Who holds the sign? Who knows their SIN? Who is inoculated? Who is hooked up? Who is prone? Who is photocopying their palm? Who is photographing themselves to check if they are still visible? One poem has 0 punctuation, a run-on sentence enthusiast's delight. And another is a numbered list, a numbered list enthusiast's delight. 1. Smash together day-old cakes, smother result in whipped cream and label trifle. 2. Impersonate teen humanitarian. There's even a poem inspired by a collaboration with fellow surrealist poet Alice Burdick, featuring lines such as, in the wet glow, ghost your misery, and anything can be a hat. I hope one day that Jaime Forsythe and Alice Burdick publish a whole collection of collaborations. Truly, this would usher in a new age of wonderful wackadoo writing, so that even American poets would look upon CanLit with envy and awe. If you're interested in learning more about Jaime Forsythe, her process, and her thoughts on poetry, check out the Feed Dog Day Afternoon podcast. She talks about that sense of mystery in her writing, whether she intentionally hides anything or not. She also talks about how she tries to capture odd moments that others might have experienced but never thought to jot down themselves. It's like someone asking, you know what I mean? And you know what they mean, but you can't put it in words. But Jaime Forsythe can.
Babe, wake up.
What?
I It's a